You've prepped the perfect first meal. You lift the little spoon to your baby's eager mouth, and then it happens. Their eyes go wide, they lurch forward, and they start making a horrible, silent coughing motion. Your heart stops, your stomach drops, and every instinct in your body is screaming, "He's choking!" But take a deep breath with me. While it looks absolutely terrifying, he's actually gagging, and there is a huge difference. I'm Sarah, I'm not a doctor, I'm a mom on a mission to read all the parenting books so you don't have to, and I know that feeling all too well. The good news? This scary reflex is often triggered by one very common, easy-to-fix mistake. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it is and how to prevent it for good. So, what is that number one mistake? It's surprisingly simple. We're putting too much on the spoon. Now, before we get frustrated with this reflex, remember, it's actually a good thing. It's your baby's natural, built-in safety feature to prevent choking. But here is the crucial difference that changes everything. Think of the gag reflex like a security alarm. In our adult mouths, that alarm sensor is located way at the back near our throat. For a baby, however, that sensor is placed much, much further forward, right around the middle of their tongue. It's just hypersensitive and incredibly easy to trip. Now combine that forward-placed alarm with the second fact. Their mouths are tiny, and they haven't yet mastered the complex skill of using their tongue to move food from the front to the back to swallow. So when we offer a big, overloaded spoonful of puree, we're setting off a chain reaction. That little mouth is instantly overwhelmed. The tongue, which is still learning the ropes, can't manage that much volume. It freezes. It doesn't know how to move that food back properly. And so, beep, that sensitive alarm right in the middle of their tongue gets tripped. The brain gets a signal, potential danger, eject immediately. And that's what gagging is, that powerful, reflexive push of the tongue to get the food out and away from the airway. So the first, most immediate fix is to drastically reduce the amount you offer. Think just a tiny taste on the very tip of the spoon. But what if you're already doing that and they're still gagging? Well, that's because there are a few other equally common causes we need to fix. So let's lock in that first fix, the one about the spoon, because how we do it makes all the difference. This is what I call the Pea-Sized Rule, and it is your single best tool for building a confident eater. Now, our instinct as parents who just want to see our babies get a full, happy tummy is to load that spoon up, to get a nice scoop that covers the whole bowl of the spoon. But for a baby, that's like trying to parallel park a bus in a spot meant for a motorcycle. It's just too much to handle. Instead, I want you to take your spoon and just get a tiny bit of puree on the very, very tip. Seriously, think of a single green pea. That's your serving size. And I know what you're thinking. Sarah, that's nothing. He's still going to be hungry. I hear you, I really do. But right now, we're not just filling a belly, we're teaching a complex motor skill. That tiny amount gives your baby the chance to feel in control. It allows their tongue to find the food, explore it, and move it to the back of their mouth for a swallow, all without triggering that sensitive gag reflex. We're giving them a tiny, manageable win with every single bite. But as you've probably guessed, getting the spoon load right is just piece number one of the puzzle. If you're already doing this and still seeing some gagging, don't worry. That's because there are 5 other crucial factors that all work together. Let's break down the next one. And this next one might feel a little counterintuitive because it has to do with temperature. As parents, we're often so careful to make sure our baby's food isn't too hot and not too cold, but just right, that perfectly warm, comforting puree. It makes perfect sense to our adult brains. But for a baby who is just learning the incredibly complex map of their own mouth, that mild temperature can actually backfire. Here's why. Think about it this way. When food doesn't provide a strong sensory signal, it's easy for your baby to momentarily lose track of where it is. This brings us to a neat little concept called oral proprioception. It sounds technical, I know, but all it really means is the mouth's ability to sense its own position and movement. It's like the mouth's internal GPS system for food. A lukewarm, soft puree offers a very weak signal for that brand new GPS. The brain gets a fuzzy location, the food unexpectedly slides back and touches that sensitive gag reflex, and you get a gag. It's not about the food itself, it's about the surprise of it. But what happens when you serve that same puree slightly chilled, maybe straight from the fridge? Suddenly, that cold provides a constant, strong, and clear signal. It's like upgrading their GPS from fuzzy country roads to a high-definition city map. Their brain knows exactly where that little blob of food is at all times, from the front of the tongue to the back. This gives them the information they need to prepare for the swallow in a controlled, deliberate way. No surprise, no panic, just a calm, managed process. This is such a simple tweak with a huge potential payoff. You can try it with things that are naturally cold, like yogurt or applesauce, but also experiment with chilling their other purees, avocado, sweet potato, even pears. Just taking that warmth away might be the key to giving their little brain the clear signal it needs to feel safe and in control. Speaking of making them feel safe and in control, our third tip is a game changer because it puts them in the driver's seat. It might feel a bit counterintuitive, but one of the best ways to help your baby's gag reflex is to let them play with their food, or at least with food-shaped things. Think of it this way. Their gag reflex is a super sensitive alarm right now. Our job is to gently teach it what a real emergency is versus what's just normal. We do this by letting them explore safe objects with their mouth on their own terms. This process is called desensitization. It allows them to control how far back an object goes, and over time, that trigger point on their tongue slowly and safely moves further back. But, and this is the most important part of this tip, before you hand them anything, we need to talk about the word safe. A safe mouthing object, especially a food one, has two non-negotiable rules. First, it must be at least as thick as an adult's finger. Second, it must be soft enough that you can easily squish it between your thumb and forefinger. This means a raw, hard carrot stick is a major choking hazard. But a carrot stick that has been steamed or roasted until it's very soft, that's perfect. It should be long enough that they can grasp it in their fist with plenty of length left to explore with their mouth. So what works well? Soft cooked sticks of sweet potato, zucchini, or carrot are fantastic. A spear of a very ripe, soft pear, or even a firm banana can work. Just watch them closely. Non-food options are great too, like a wide, flat silicone teether, a textured developmental toy, or even the back of their baby spoon. Letting them just hold and mouth the spoon can do wonders. Now here is the secret, amazing thing that is happening when you do this. It's the goosh moment I was so excited to share with you. When your baby puts that carrot stick in their mouth and moves it from side to side, a reflex is triggered. Their tongue will instinctively curl and follow the object. That side-to-side movement is called tongue lateralization. It is the exact muscular workout their tongue needs to learn how to move food from the center of their mouth over to their gums for chewing. It's not just play, it's targeted physical therapy for eating. They are literally teaching themselves how to handle real food long before it even shows up on their plate. Isn't that incredible? By giving them a soft veggie stick to play with, you're building the foundation for safe chewing. So I'd love to hear from you. What safe, stick-shaped foods have been a hit with your little one? Share your ideas in the comments below to help out other parents. These are such fantastic ideas. Thank you all so much for sharing them. Community is everything on this journey. Now, once you have that perfect, soft-cooked carrot stick ready, the next question is, what are you putting the puree on? This brings us to tip number 4, and it's one I feel very strongly about. Not all spoons are created equal. It makes me a little frustrated, honestly, because I see so many beautifully marketed baby spoons that are actually working against your baby. I'm talking about the ones with wide, deep bowls. They almost look like a miniature soup ladle. For a baby's tiny mouth, this design is a real problem. They can't get their lips around it properly, which means they can't learn that crucial skill of clearing the spoon with their upper lip. So what happens? You, the parent, end up having to scrape the food against their gums, or you tilt the spoon and essentially just dump the food in. This lack of control is exactly what can lead to an unexpected mouthful and trigger that sensitive gag reflex. The solution is beautifully simple. Look for a spoon that is narrow and relatively flat. Think of it as a tool designed for their mouth, not a shovel designed for efficiency. When you're shopping, here's what to look for. First, a soft tip, usually made of silicone, is wonderful because it's gentle on their sensitive gums, especially if they're teething. But the most critical feature is a shallow bowl. This is the secret. A shallow bowl allows your baby to easily press their upper lip down and actively clear the food off themselves. They are in control. They are building strength and coordination. And while you're at it, look at the handle. A shorter, chunkier handle is easier for their little hands to grip, which is a fantastic first step toward confident self-feeding. It transforms mealtime from a passive act into an active lesson. You're not just feeding them, you're teaching them how to eat. And one of the most powerful yet often overlooked parts of that lesson happens before the food even gets to their mouth. This brings me to tip number 5. Give them permission to get messy. I really want you to reframe this in your mind. Messy eating isn't just a chaotic phase you have to survive. It's a critical tool you can use. Think of it as sensory homework for your baby's brain before the big test of actually tasting. When your little one gets to touch, squish, and smear their food, they are gathering so much important data. Their little fingertips are telling their brain, okay, this is a bit cool. It's smooth, not lumpy, it's thick. So when that same substance eventually enters their mouth, it's not a complete surprise. The brain has already had a preview. This familiarity dramatically reduces the shock factor, making them feel more in control and far less likely to gag. Now I hear you, I really do. The thought of cleaning pureed avocado off the walls, the dog, and your own hair is a lot. But we don't have to go from zero to a food explosion. You can create controlled chaos. Here's how. First, instead of giving them the whole bowl to potentially fling across the room, just put one small dollop directly on their highchair tray. They get all the sensory benefits in a contained space. Second, a simple splat mat under the highchair is a game changer. Knowing the cleanup is just a matter of folding up the mat and wiping it down removes so much of the stress. So please let them play a little. It's not just about making a mess. It's about building comfort and confidence. It's one of the most natural safety techniques there is. So please let them play a little. It's not just about making a mess. It's about building comfort and confidence. It's one of the most natural safety techniques there is. But I have to be completely honest with you. All 5 of these techniques, the tiny spoon, the cooler food, the mouthing toys, the right spoon shape, the messy play, they're all incredibly powerful. But they can all fail if we miss the one single thing that underpins everything, the true foundation. And that is proper positioning in the high chair. I want you to picture a baby in a typical chair. You've probably seen it. Their little legs are just dangling in the air, swinging back and forth. Maybe they're slumped a bit to one side, or their back is rounded because the seat is too deep. Their body is busy. It's working overtime, just trying to stay balanced and upright. Here's the physiological reality that we just can't ignore. Your baby's brain has a priority list, and number 1 on that list, always, is postural stability. It's the don't fall over instinct. When a baby's core is unstable, their brain redirects all its resources to support those big muscles. It simply cannot dedicate the focus needed for the incredibly fine motor skills of chewing and swallowing. A stable core is directly linked to the fine motor control of the jaw and tongue. It's not just a nice to have, it's a prerequisite for safe eating. So what's the solution? It's something called the 90-90-90 rule. It's so simple and so effective. We are aiming for 90-degree angles at the hips, the knees, and the ankles. This means their bottom and thighs are flat on the seat, their knees are bent at a right angle, and most importantly, their feet are flat and resting on a solid surface, not dangling, resting. Now, I know what you're thinking. My high chair doesn't do that. Most don't. But this is where we get creative. If your chair doesn't have an adjustable footrest, you can create one. Tape a stack of thick books to the legs of the chair, use a yoga block, an old Amazon box, or even a pool noodle sliced in half. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be stable. If your baby is slumping to the side, roll up 2 small towels and tuck them in snugly at their hips. This is it. This is the single most important change you can make to prevent gagging and ensure your baby is safe during mealtimes. A stable body allows the mouth to do its skilled work. It gives them the solid foundation they need to learn one of life's most important skills. Please check your setup. It matters more than you know. Okay, I know that was a lot to take in, but getting that physical foundation right is truly everything. So let's quickly recap your gag-free action plan. 1. Keep bites pea-sized. 2. Serve food slightly cool to the touch. Let them practice with safe, stick-shaped teethers. 4. Use a small, flat spoon. 5. Let them do their sensory homework by playing with their food first. And the base for it all, number 6, lock in that 90-90-90 posture in the high chair. Look, gagging can be scary, but it's a manageable part of the journey. With these strategies, you're not just preventing gags, you're building a confident, safe, and happy eater for life. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like. It truly helps other parents find this information. And for more science-backed guides from one mom to another, make sure to subscribe. Now that you've mastered the setup, your next question might be what to feed them. That's why I've made this video right here, breaking down the difference between purees and baby-led weaning. Thanks for being here. You've got this.